take about 2 hours wandering down the road, talking with your friends, just like taking in the sights, the sounds. Crossroads is pretty, even from a distance. You get some space from it, and from a nearby hill, you get to look down on it. It's nice. You can see the people moving around. Can't see. Levin would be the easiest landmark, not readily available. However, given enough time, you put a tree line between yourself and the crossroads, and you finally put your back to the place, utterly and truly. And you travel down a road in the direction of Bounty. There's a train line there that'll connect up to the rest of the country. Or, if you're Velvet and Atticus, you could walk. Delphi says that she walked the distance to Bluebell in a day, but you also remember that Delphi was crazy. Yeah, Delphi is crazy and also a delivery girl. She's probably used to actually like sprinting these distances on foot.
Jesus.
Someone who absolutely is not is Glanvier, who is drained. He is dragging his feet.
At some point when that became obvious, I think Velvet leaned back and scooped him up on top of her comically huge adventurer's sack and has just been carrying him.
Oh, no, that's okay!
You travel down the road, and in front of you, you actually see a myriad of wagons and people surrounded by RNA guards. It's strange. They don't seem to be like Celine, your blood pressure spikes for half a second as you see RNAians, because you're not used to them exactly. You're used to dealing with the people of Snowdrop,
yeah.
But most recently they were chasing you. But once again, your instincts calm. They know Ned's face, and they know Firefly's not face, not yours. And taking a closer look, they don't seem to be doing anything nefarious to these people. They seem to be stopping with them, getting them food, water, and helping them move, weirdly. They're putting a lot of work, time, care, and energy into the preservation of these carts and whatever's contained within them. You see a lot of people moving with their families, moving just furniture. It's weird. It's almost like there's a mass exodus
Some
heading
Oregon Trail shit going on here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh. Well, that's weird.
Wait a minute, they're not our random encounter. We're theirs.
Bam, 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 bam. I throw Glamier. What?
You have been bitten by a rattlesnake. Would you like to use aloe vera or suck at the wound?
I suck at the wound. You drowned in the river.
You have died. You have drowned. Items lost. One grandfather clock.
Your grandmother. And your dog. Mushrooms. She's about to skip over and bend down and pick up the mushrooms and looks at Glamier lounging on top of her bag.
I can get down now. That's fine. If you want to go mushroom hunting, I'll just... Thank
I
you,
always
right?
do. No problem. Yoink.
Man, she is strong.
Velvet is not as strong as Delphi. She's still pretty tough.
Celine approaches his guard. Excuse me.
The guard was actually a head down in the flowers, turns around. Hey, hi. Do you need help?
No, actually.
Rations. He reaches around in his pack. Apparently, he's used to this. You notice that he's got almost a messenger bag, and he's got water bottles in it, and he shifts through, and you can tell that there are a lot missing. And without thinking too hard, he offers you one.
Oh, I'm fine, thank you. I was actually just curious. I'm not used to seeing so many wagons just on the road like this. Is everything okay?
Yeah. No, everything's mostly fine, I guess. Are you headed... Looks down the road, down this line of wagons. Are you headed towards Bounty right now?
Yeah.
Okay, you're gonna get some traffic. Train station's still operational and everything, but yeah. It's gonna be a little rough. You might need to, stay aside of the wagons, but... yeah. He's, distracted, checking over, this cart, checking over all the people around. You can tell that this person, just based on his stance, he hasn't, he's tired. He's clearly exhausted. If you had to guess, and actually you get get a split-second view of this person, almost a glimpse into his past. You're like used to this sensation, but it always catches you a little off guard. This person's been up since the early morning helping people move. He got the order that it's time to get people out of Bounty, and without questioning it, he's set to work. He's doing his absolute best to make sure everyone's okay, and beyond that, he doesn't know much. As your eyes unfog and focus back in, he holds out the water bottle. You look more tired than I am. Here.
Oh, well, I guess if you don't mind, I'll snatch that, thank you. You look like you could probably use a nap. I know it's not my place to tell you what to do, but if you can find a chance to lie down or something, it might not be a terrible idea.
That is completely fair. He looks around. If you're civilians, you might not want to go this way. I think if you go back through crossroads over there, there's you can leave through a field. He gives you directions functionally through the woods that Velvet actually came to Bluebell from. And Velvet, you know that route is horrifically inefficient. It's not a particularly good one. And after a few moments, he kind of he waves you on and goes back to helping others, and you see someone a little further down the road sort of start to scoot towards you. You can't really tell what's happening with this person until you get a clearer view of their face and notice it's completely overgrown. It appears that they are some sort of plant person, they've got flowers blooming from a jacket that's actually surprisingly low slung, and they're looking around, they're checking on people too, and then they make eye contact with you and kind of wander up. Hi,
Hi
hello, there. This is a weird request. Puts two overgrown, viney hands together. Do you know any doctors?
Oh, do we know any doctors? We actually do. Where'd she go?
What are you doing?
Flower cart.
She's actually being much less romp stomp clomp, don't care if that's poop, whatever, than normal, because she wants to protect her new parasol, so she's staying a little more out of the tree line than usual.
Celine just picks up Sprout and lifts him way over her head as high as she can to let him scope out the area.
He just beeps at a rhythmic pace, and his question mark begins circling like a radar.
Oh yeah, no, it looks like he has a stub over one of his eyes, and his question mark actually he goes back, and the it sticks out towards her.
Oh.
As you stand near the flower cart, you take a look at this guy up here, and you too get that momentary flash of the past. You get a split-second moment, and you understand that the place that this person's life intersects yours.
So, if only because he interacted with Delphi and is going to be doing so when we are not there, and his pog is listed as clearly evil.
Yes.
What flavor is he?
He's pissed off. Apparently he's upset that, he's taking a look back repeatedly at presumably his own cart, and, more or less wondering what the holdup is. It's apparent that he's got business elsewhere, you now figure with Crossroads, and this is more or less an inconvenience for him.
Okay. Velvet stops enjoying the flowers and walks back this way. Also, I want to give you props. You tricked me very well about to introduce a new character. I thought this person was just going to be a little cute mushroom that was sitting in the middle of the road, kind of like the ones we found in the forest, and this white-haired lady was going to be a character. And you did the old 1-2. You tricked me thinking it would be a
bait and switch.
I thought it was going to be another J albino, but no, it was a J flower person with flowers growing out of their flowers, and their name is a flower. So,
if you don't mind my
there you are.
asking, where do you hail from?
I come from a swamp a little bit up north. I'm I'm one of the last resort. I'm from the Bluebell branch. They fold their hands.
Velvet hears that and walks up and literally just says,
Oh, that's a thing Delphi was a part of.
Oh.
What?
The person stops. You know Little Delphi? World's smaller than I expected. Nice to meet you. They take a step forward. My name's Orchid. They extend a viney hand. You don't have to shake.
No, that's fine, Velvet says, thinking this person probably has a different kind of nervous system and it's not a problem if they touch her.
You interact hands. It is not a problem, actually. They withdraw and take a step back. I was asking your friend if you knew any doctors. I'm sorry, I shouldn't. If your friends have dealt... How is she doing, by the way?
She's doing good. I just treated her. I'm a doctor.
She raises her hands in the air.
That is extremely fortuitous.
This is literally so coincidentally amazing. It's suspicious.
Well, I guess let's get it.
Things.
I guess let's go right to it. She pulls out a knife.
What?
No.
No, I've been looking for the assistance of a doctor for a while. I am not a trained medical professional myself, and I was going to go ask in the nearby crossroads if there was one.
Well, I'm a wandering doctor, so your timing was pretty good.
That is ideal for the circumstances. They nod and start to walk over here. I don't know how to put this, other than this evacuation is necessary and... they stop for a second. RNA is doing, I believe, what they believe they must, but at the same time, they aren't seeing to people who need assistance in Bounty itself.
Shocker.
Evacuation?
Yes, people have begun to get sick in the town of Bounty. The exact nature of the malady is something that I have been struggling to discover myself. I was headed back to the branch in Bluebell when the evacuation order was sounded. They look back towards Bounty and the long line of carts. Now, most of the townsfolk are being moved away. I believe Crossroads itself should be flooded with people in about, 2 hours. But others have been left behind, those deemed too sick to move. And, more worryingly, others have been left within the bounds of the town who have a will to leave, but they are being prevented from doing so.
By the soldiers?
Orchid, looks over at the group of RNAs to the side and slowly nods, making sure that they don't hear. If you're a wandering doctor, that means you're not one of RNAs, so...
I sure am not.
I would ask you this favor on behalf of the last resort, that you investigate... No, that was my job. Orchid almost seems disappointed in themselves for a second. I would ask that you assist those still trapped within the bounds of Bounty.
Oh, absolutely. That is the thing I do best. I didn't catch your name. I'm Velvet.
Orchid. Yeah. They look down for a moment and then part big, long, planty bangs. You realize to reveal a human face. It's just buried. It's just buried in lots and lots of overgrowth. They kind of smile at you and then let it hang in front of their face again. Your assistance is most appreciated. I became worried that this would be another incident they stopped thinking, like in Bluebell itself. Kind of wilt for a second.
Did something happen in Bluebell? I've only been gone for a couple days.
People were getting sick in Bluebell. 2 of the tempos were locked down. The last resort wasn't allowed in, but we received numerous pleas for assistance. And then, in the middle of the day, one day, there was an incident where a group of thieves snuck in and stole what we now theorize was an artifact of some sort that was poisoning the populace. Celine, Celine, how are you reacting to this?
Celine's actually keeping a pretty calm demeanor. Out of curiosity, which tempos were those? Celine crosses her arms. Because I must
Tempos
admit...
8 and 9.
Okay, because I was honestly thinking about heading to Bluebell. Okay, well, I'll avoid 8 and 9.
Was the thing that was stolen, was that a machine, or do you mean like a UHS?
That is an unusual term. I don't think it has any connection to this, but I'm no mage, and I'm no scientist.
Well,
so
I'm like half
sure?
of one of those things, and definitely not the other. I just know that when people talk about artifacts, I guess sometimes they just mean magic, but I don't know. When I've overheard conversations like that in my dad's shop, like once or twice, I remember that term coming up as like things that people sometimes call artifacts that are kind of magical and kind of not. Like they're magic, but they break the rules in weird ways.
Celine, this is sounding familiar to you.
Yeah, Celine kind of looks over and nods, but just goes, interesting. I've heard about those once or twice.
You said you were investigating Bounty. Can you tell me anything about the actual situation in the town in terms of people? Like, is this like a plague? Is it, like, what is actually happening? I need to know if it's okay for more than just me to enter the quarantine, which I will be doing regardless of whether I am allowed to or not.
Orchid slowly nods and extends a piece of paper, actually. On it is just flat out a map of the town. It is hand-drawn. Apparently they were taking their own notes. I was trying to locate the source of whatever this sickness is, and I located quarantined individuals who aren't allowed to leave. Here. They just go down the list, pointing at a various number of X's, and if you reach the town itself, I will point out
a various number of red X's where their map didn't load.
No.
Ow! Now, as far as my investigation went, the peculiarities arise around this district. They circle a section of the map down in the lower, sort of like off to the right almost. This is the new RNA and housing development, overseen by one of the CEOs of RNA. It began a while ago, but only recently has this district been considered completed. None of the people who live in that area are required to leave. For some reason, there's something that makes that district okay. Furthermore, no instances of sickness were reported in that district.
I hope it's not some kind of, like, reverse water supply poisoning real estate scheme where it's like, look, only our business place is good. We're gonna buy up more land and bleebity bloobity, and everyone else leaves.
That's so evil.
That might be a good place to start with the looking.
That sounds like the security forces' MO, but the RNAians who were stationed in Bounty were associated with, I believe, the architecture department, and they seemed on the up and up.
Alright. Well, thank you for the information.
Thank you for accepting this job. I'm legally required to compensate you. They fumble around in their various pockets and eventually reach out with like actually a reasonable stash of gold and like offer it to the group. Half now, half when the job is completed. Although it's only under... The only objective that I'm assigning to you currently is the treatment of the patients at the following locations. However, should you complete my investigation in my place, you will receive the reward that I would have been compensated with.
All right. Well,
Sure.
we don't need to talk too much about compensation. This will definitely be enough to, if I need to procure any extra goods in there. I don't think you actually mentioned what are the actual symptoms. You just said they're sick.
They sigh and look around and almost make eye contact with somebody in a cart. People are falling asleep and they aren't waking back up.
Oh, that's especially bad because it means you can't actually ask the suffering person about what's ailing them.
And, how recent did this start? Like, people starting to fall asleep?
Symptoms extended before that. General lethargy, bouts of dizziness. I believe the first coma cases began about 4 days ago.
So this was
Oh,
very
wow.
recent.
This is extremely fast spreading. That's really bad. Okay.
That is why I believe the evacuation is a necessity. I only worry for those left behind.
No, understandable.
Well, thank you for all the information. Is there a reason
Thank
these
you
people
for
are...
your assistance.
No problem. Is there a reason these people are parked out here? Normally I'd expect to see
They're-
a roadblock. Are they just paused?
They're actually fixing a wheel.
Oh, okay.
That came loose. Yeah. No, they're trying to get their wagon back up and running, and this is more or less a traffic jam that's causing issues elsewhere.
Gotcha. Okay.
I will thank you once again.
Where should we meet after this?
Yeah.
I will return to Bounty after escorting these individuals elsewhere.
Okay.
Is that amenable?
That makes things easy.
Yeah.
Plodge.
I'll see you
And
then.
then Velvet walks over to Glamier.
Yeah, I'm afraid we won't be able to prioritize your crystal ball. I'm also worried about bringing you into contact with a place like this since, no offense, but it seems like you seem the person it's very easy to make faint. So I'm not sure a lethargy plague is good to expose you to.
He's kind of facing away as you're saying that, and then at the end he turns to you and he looks surprisingly confident, and his chest is all puffed up and he's standing tall. This is something that I can handle easily.
Do you have magic sparkle powers for this?
He does a with his hands, of course.
You know I'm taking that as a straight yes, because you just
Again.
said yes. Okay.
I fucking love these two.
We can't let these people suffer.
Celine turns back around, catches up with them, and very quietly, let's get a move on to Bounty.
Sure, 1 second. There's a few things. I'm not sure exactly what kind of sleep sickness this is, but there's a few things I'm probably gonna have to grab.
While Sprout is wandering past this gentleman here, he's just gonna write on his board, just, Ned?
No, I am Archer.
Hi,
It's
Archer.
Archer
Archer
nods in understanding.
Stevenson.
The most important
Don't bring
Evan
him
Ward
back.
character.
Velvet investigates this congregation of monarch butterflies.
Ooh, fantastic! You're taking a look at the butterflies. Yeah, they're
comes up behind. Ooh.
You gather around the butterflies. They seem to be, for some reason, gathering around this plant in particular. To you, it looks like just like any other gathering of puffballs, but for some reason, they're going nuts. They're perching on these. They're making this their home.
Velvet picks up a small one and sees if holding it out attracts a butterfly.
Butterflies come with.
Ooh,
It's free butterflies.
Glamier.
She picks up 2 small ones and then puts them on he has a cape, right?
Yes.
She puts them kind of near where the back of his neck intersects each of his shoulders.
If you walk around, you'll have a butterfly following you. Just
Oh
a
my gosh.
parade of butterflies.
This is. I can. This is so grand.
Wow. Of all the things we've seen wandering around the woods, this is the first one that I recognize from a book.
Oh?
Yeah. It was
Grass.
about a butterfly named Barry. He spent a long time as a caterpillar, and then he fell asleep, and when he woke up he was somewhere unfamiliar, and then it turned out he was flying.
Oh, I read that one. That's one of the ones I used to learn words.
Oh, I actually kind of did too.
Neat.
Is it
Classics.
okay that I'm coming with you to this? I don't know how useful I'm gonna be. The whole, I didn't actually get sick that much as a kid because, you know, there's not a lot of person-to-person contact if you're in the back of the shop a lot of the time. But
Young man, our team is going to need a chief engineer.
Not to mention, I'm glad that we're away from the guards. No, this doesn't sound like a normal disease. This is a magic item. Has to be. I did a job a while back. Mansion, had to go in, steal, you know, the classic something. Got there and basically everyone had fallen asleep entirely. The guards were borderline knocked out already. And it was because of the artifact that was there. So, I don't know how common this effect would be, but it sounds like it's similar to that at least.
Huh. If that's the case, it might be something purposefully putting people to sleep, and then them issuing an executive order to get people out of the town so they can do shady business.
In the exact same tone as before. That's so evil!
Yeah, and especially if the RNAians have their own little pocket, maybe they are up to something. I mean,
I'm gonna be
obviously,
honest.
that's a jump to conclusions, obviously, but considering the time frame, they only recently finished that area. In the last 4 days, people have started to fall asleep. They're
Yeah,
evacuating
that's
everyone.
ridiculous.
That's too many coincidences.
So
Suspicious.
I'll be totally honest, Atticus. I don't really want to bring you in there because I don't want to put you in danger. But also, I just promised we'd travel together, and if we're facing the RNAians at any capacity, you never know if one of them's going to be a bad person, and they might have more chimeras we're going to need you to deactivate. So you
Yeah.
might be the
geez.
most valuable member of the team. I don't think we can leave you behind.
well, I guess, I mean, if you're gonna make me the chief engineer, I couldn't say no. The only thing that this sounds like from my experience is, I know sometimes toxic chemicals can do weird stuff to people, and there are a lot of toxic chemicals throughout the rocket waste, especially if you don't know where is and isn't safe. I don't know if this will be like that, but maybe.
I mean, possibly? I'll admit, magical items, they vary drastically in how they function. For all we know, this is a magical item that emits some sort of toxic gas or something. I've literally no idea. I'd have to get closer to know.
That
Yeah.
seems to be our only option, really, is to get closer to find out.
Luckily, my composition means that I'm pretty good at withstanding whatever kind of poisons or magical poisons or biological poisons would be causing this. I'm really good with poison.
I was about to say, what remaining types of poison are there?
Any other poisons out there?
Emotional.